Grab your scavenger hunt rulebooks, Wargamers, because today the crew of the Blackraven is looking for the Magic Space Baby's home planet. As you can see, Poulty Joe, their heavy, and their medic are both out. They were injured in the last mission, so they've picked up 3 goons, a couple of cowboys. These are bog standard troopers with an assault rifle each. Lieutenant Dane and Cobalt 15, the escaped sentient warbot, are going to try to help the Magic Space Baby get back to his home planet. And to do that, they are going to interrogate the Psychic Space Dwarves. Since the Magic Space Baby is psychic, and these guys are psychic, they think that somewhere in the village here is a clue to the location of that home planet. So what we have here is the village of the Psychic Space Dwarves. We've got 2 HAB modules and 2 psychic crystals. One of these 4 locations is going to contain the information that Cobalt 15 and crew are looking for. The other 3 are going to contain dummy counters, and that's what these are. See, I've got a little meh face on this one, and I've got a little meh face on this one, and another meh face, and I hope they're better hunters than me. Here's your happy face. There is your proper location. I'm going to mix these up, and I'm going to stick one under each of these 4 locations without looking at them. So we'll flip them all upside down. We'll kind of mix them up a little bit. We'll flip them upside down. I'm not very good at flipping things upside down. We'll kind of mix them up so we don't know which one is where. And then we're simply going to put one here, one here, one here, and one here. And we're ready to game on. This is just a nice big fancy sculpture in the center of the village, and it counts as cover. We've got a couple of ponds that block movement, but not eyesight, and we've got 6 terrain features which also block no movement penalty, but they do block line of sight. To figure out where the Psychic Space Dwarves start, I've got A for the leader, H for the heavy, and OOO for the 3 randos. And again, I'm just going to shake those up, and I'm going to, I guess I'll better put them down like this. We'll mix them up, and we'll just kind of stack them up, get them all confused, and we'll put them down. And I'm going to put them down blindly. On their turn, until they establish a line of sight, they are going to move D6 inches in a random direction, which is going to complicate the life of the crew of the Blackraven. So there we got them mixed up, and we're just going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like these infiltration missions. They're great for solo wargaming because they really make it a lot more complicated for the solo wargamer to know what's going on and to adjust his strategies. The next thing we're going to do is figure out which side of the board the Blackraven enters from, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Well, wait a minute. Because I have a four-sided die. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it comes up with a 1, so the Blackraven come on over here. And we'll shift the camera over a little bit so you can see Cobalt, who is lugging the Magic Space Baby around with him, is going to sneak around this way and see if he can get to that hut. He's asked Lieutenant Dane to lead these 2 cowboys through these woods to try and search this bad boy. On the activation, since we're playing 5 Parsecs From Home, you got to roll a d6. And on a 6, everybody shoots, which doesn't do anybody any good. They're going to wait for 1 turn, and we're going to roll random directions. You're going to have to take my word for it. I don't want to slow the game down. I'm going to roll. I'll be right back. To keep things simple, I rolled a d6 for each guy, and I rolled a 2. They're all moving the same direction. Some of these guys move a little bit further. If they run into an obstruction, they're just going to stop right there, and there is their movement. So we move on to the second turn, and now we've got some stuff happening. 2. So since on anything but a 1 or a 6, you only get to activate 2 guys. We're going to go ahead and activate these guys. We're going to move them 6 inches up to here, and they're going to stop just inside the woods so they still don't block line of sight, and that's going to be the end of the turn. Then we're going to roll. I'm going to roll these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice, and so that's a 5 for him, 5, 4, 2, and a 5. And then the direction is going to be in the 10 o'clock direction this time. So the sentries have all moved. Apparently they heard the warbot bumbling through the woods, and they all shifted up in this direction. You can see a couple of guys ran into terrain features, so they stopped maybe to have a little sit down and a little meditation. We're hoping for a 1 on this activation. We don't get it, so Lieutenant Dane is going to take this guy over here, and then he's going to try to sprint to there. Hoping for a big roll. He gets a 4, so he's going to run to there. This second guy is going to activate. He's going to move 6 inches to there. He's also going to sprint to these woods, and he only gets to run 2 inches. That's the end of their turn. Then we move on back around to the Space Dwarves' turn, and I'm going to roll for that one, and this one, and this one. There's one back behind the hub there, or the hab module, and then this guy there is 1, and the direction is going to be the 9 o'clock direction. So they're all moving this way, they're all looking that way, which is good for these guys down here. So in the 9 o'clock direction, I kind of wheeled them around, so they're all kind of heading in that direction, which is bad for the 2 guys causing a diversion over there. But it's good for the guys down here. And with the 6, everybody shoots, but we don't want to shoot. The alarm is not raised. That's a bad deal, because now it means it's time for the Psychic Space Dwarves to move again. And hopefully they decide to look in another direction. 1, 4, 4, 1, and 5. And this time they're going to move in the 10 o'clock direction. So rolling for activation for team these guys. Another 6. So they're just going to sit there. And you can see this figure is right on the edge. Now, he's hunkered down so we can't see him again. If we get a result of a 9, 10, 11, or 12, I'm going to rule that the sentries now have bumbled into those woods. And on a 7, they didn't detect anything. So let's roll some distances. Let's keep it on the board there, Wargaming. All right, in the 7 o'clock direction. Good times. So before I check anything, I'm going to rule that the line of sight is 12 inches. Because there's a chance. Now, there's no line of sight here to either of these guys. This tree is blocking this Psychic Dwarf's line. But over here, we've got a distance of just over 12 inches, which forces the hand. Now, the good news is they started to shift this way, so we're going to, whatever happens, we got to activate this guy, and we got to get him into cover. So he's going to simply move over here and call it a day. The next thing we want to do is move Lieutenant Dane, and he's going to run up to here. And I think we'll go ahead and sprint him over to here. He's going to do his little scurry, and he's going to move just 1 inch like that. But he's still behind the woods, so he's still blocked. Checking for direction 2. We're going to be moving off that way now. And for distance, having satisfied them that not a whole lot is going on over here, we've got some low distances. He's going to wheel around, and we can, this time I'll actually, oh, that was a 3. That was a 3. We're going to kind of wheel him around a little bit. We've got a 4-inch movement over here. We got a 6 over here, so he walks, and then 2 over here. So they're still hiding in the woods. Everybody's looking that way, and we'll roll for activation. On a 3, we're going to activate 2, and this time I'm going to go ahead and send him over to there. Now, he can only move 6 inches, but he's going to scurry to try to get right up on it. And that 4 inches takes him to here. Unfortunately, see, the problem is the door to investigate this is on the opposite side. So he's got to get around and get inside the hutch. The second guy I'm going to activate is over here. And he's going to move a total of 11 inches. So he catches up to Lieutenant Dane. Rolling for our sentries, we're going to be moving in the 4 o'clock direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's your distances. 4 o'clock is going to be roughly that direction. I'm going to wheel him around 2. I'm going to wheel him around to there. And everybody else has a clear line of sight. Let me move those. he's the only one with a chance to see anybody. He's got a chance to see Lieutenant Dane, but that 4 o'clock direction is still looking more this way. So we'll have to activate him and hunker down. On a 3, we get 2 activations. If he runs over to here, he will be spotted. So instead, we're going to get him into cover. We're going to bring him this way to hide behind here. And I think we'll go ahead and activate this guy as well to bring him up behind the house too. And on the next turn, I really think we're going to have to just make it count, just charge out and try to put them all down. But the Space Dwarves are going to get one more chance to see us. They're going to move in the 8 o'clock direction. And, oh, distances is going to be 4 inches there, 5 there, 6, 3, and where's our 5th Psychic Space Dwarf? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he's right behind the sculpture there. He's only going to move 1 inch. There you have it. Let's go ahead and roll 4 activation. 6. Everybody shoots. This is what we were hoping for. Dane's going to peek out. He does not have a shot, but Cobalt definitely does. So we've only got 2 guys that can shoot. And we're going to take a shot at this figure without even knowing what it is. Because all he did is peek out, good old Lieutenant Dane, who found Jesus and is a lot more likable than he used to be, is going to fire with his... What has he got? He's got a blast rifle. So that gives him 1 kill die at a range of 16, and that's it. 1 kill die. And he gets a 2, which is nothing. Let's see who that is. That's the heavy. So we'll swap him out. And he says, what? Then Lieutenant Dane is going to open fire on this guy. And that is... Lieutenant Dane actually has 2 pistols. Now, he's got a range of 9 inches. He is definitely within range. So he rolls 2 shock and 2 flinch dice. So the only result here is this 1, which is a result of a flinch. And on a flinch, he has to move 1d6 to the nearest cover. He hunkers down and may not move or fire. So I'm going to move him 1 inch to there. Hey, whoa, somebody's shooting at me. That's just a regular gunman. And he moves to right there. And that's the end of the turn. Now, these guys were on guard fire. Normally, on a roll of a 6, everybody gets to shoot back, too. Anybody that didn't shoot on the last roll. Unfortunately, because they are caught unaware, there's a O for just a regular guy. And here is a O. So that puts the leader over there. And the leader has a power axe and a pistol. Way out there in the open, which may prove unfortunate. The good news is it's their turn. So they get to roll for activation. And on a 4, the Psychic Space Dwarves get 2 activations. This is the easy one. That heavy has a Fury rifle, which has a 1 inch blast radius. So when he shoots at Lieutenant Dane, he's also going to target this guy. He only gets 1 kill die for each of them. So Dane and, oh, how about that? Snake Eyes means both of these figures are knocked down. So Dane and this cowboy get knocked down. They're going to have to roll to recover. Now that only has 10 shots, and that individual blast took out only, wow, he's a pretty good sharpshooter there, only 1 of the 10 ammo. The second guy to go is going to be a little more challenging. I think we're going to go ahead and have the leader charge Cobalt. So he's going to move 6 inches to here. And we're going to have some fisticuffs. A brawl, this is the first time I've had to deal with a brawl. Now, the good news for that Psychic Space Dwarf is he's got a power axe, which gives him a +1. The bad news is the Cobalt ignores shock dice. Whoa. Which doesn't apply. Got a foot to this because it's my first time. I want to make sure I get it right. We tightened up the shot here. The dwarf is at +2. 1 because he initiated, +1 because he has a power axe. Cobalt is at +1 because he's in cover. So the red die gets +2, +1 to the yellow die. And the yellow die wins ties. So that's a 6 and a 5. The loser is knocked out of action as a casualty. The winner may immediately move 2 inches as a follow-up move. And we're going to do that. So there's a casualty. Cobalt moves to here. Actually, he's going to move 2 inches to here, because this isn't even his turn. And that's the end of the turn for the Space Dwarves. We got to roll for our boys. 6 means everybody shoots. I suppose he might have taken a shot at him, but he's facing the wrong way. Good news is everybody shoots, so who has a shot? I think Cobalt is the only one with a shot. He's going to go ahead and take a... Oh, he's a casualty. Cobalt would have moved to here, trying to get to this space crystal, and now he's going to take his shot there. The bad news is everybody gets to shoot, which means they're going to be able to do some guard fire at him as he turns around. They did not fire last turn, so that's legitimate. He actually does have a shot over here at this guy. He's in cover as well. So let's go ahead, and it's all simultaneous, so let's go ahead and roll his pistol dice. He can only do shock dice because... Oh, he's not moving. He's only shooting. So he gets his full complement. And that's a whole big fat load of nothing. He is firing with an assault rifle, which means he rolls 1 kill when firing, 1 kill and 1 shock die. Same thing. He only gets 1 of each, though, and he's firing at this guy here. So, again, nothing happens. Then he gets to fire back, and because he is doing return fire, make sure I get this right, firefight. Opposing figures that are in cover and hiding may peek up and fire. Once all fire, each opposing figure in the line of sight may fire subject to the same limitations. May not move. If they do, they may not act in their own. Oh, if he shoots, okay, that's fine, though. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and roll for those guys. And they're both going to be shooting at Cobalt. And that's going to be a flinch and an out of action. Cobalt has armor, so the out of action is ignored. The flinch, however, is also ignored because that's one of the special rules. Oh, he ignores the shock dice. Isn't that great? He is super duper brave. So nothing happens except these guys have fired, and it is now there. Well, he was not shot at, so he can't return fire. It's now the Space Dwarves, and now the Space Dwarves get to shoot, but cannot move. Now, they've already fired, so they can't. But he gets to... Oh, you know... I guess technically these guys couldn't have returned fire, huh? Each line of sight... Oh, he could have fired but didn't. So, you know what? We're going to go ahead and use him as one of our activations. He's going to fire at that cowboy, and he's going to get nothing. And then this guy is going to... He's going to nominate a point right here and try to shoot at him. And what did we say he had? Fury Rifle, 1 kill die, which does nothing. So that's it. Now we move on to Team Blackraven. On their turn, they get 2 activations. I can use my 2 activations to try to recover these guys, but instead I'm going to move to hand-to-hand combat because he's very scary. And we're going to roll, let's see, that big heavy, yep, just a straight roll. Yellow for Blackraven. Blackraven wins, takes him out of action. And that's one less thing we got to worry about. And then I have one more activation. I'm actually going to, we gotta knock these guys out. So I'm going to bring Cobalt running up here to get into hand-to-hand combat with him. Now, Cobalt gets a +1 to the die roll. And again, yellow is Cobalt. So Cobalt wins, he knocks him out of action, and he gets to move 2 inches. Wow, Browning is really deadly in this game, isn't it? We'll have to remember that. So 2 inches is just enough to bring him into contact with this guy. He does not get the +1 this time. So it's a straight roll, and on a tie, we need to check the rule. If the defender is defending an obstacle, the attacker moves 2 inches, but instead, in this case, the defender moves back 2 inches. That was our first and our second turn, and now it's time for the last 2. Well, first we'll roll for activation. Nothing fancy. So the Space Dwarves are going to, let's see, he brawled but did not fire in his last turn. I think we have a guard fire over there. First guy's going to run over and engage in melee here. He gets a guard fire, which doesn't do any good, and now he can't fire in his next turn. Not a problem. We're going to do the melee here, and Cobalt wins that handily and then moves his 2 inches to here. And this time we're actually going to go ahead and say, you know what, let's just take a shot at him because this whole brawl... Actually, he should brawl with him. Instead, he took a shot and it didn't work. So it becomes the Blackraven's turn, and on a 6, everybody gets to shoot. So that's going to be a shot here. Well, let's start with Cobalt because he's got the better guns. Cobalt gets a flinch out of this guy, and that flinch means the target will move d6 to the nearest cover. I think that means here. He's going to move 2 inches to try to escape, and he is now in cover. Can't move, must fire at the nearest target. In the meantime, one of these cowboys gets to take a shot. He's not even going to move. He's just going to take the shot and not do a whole lot. I could roll to recover these guys, and on a 1 they recover, but I don't think I need to do that just yet. It's now the Space Dwarf's turn, and well, we got to roll our activation, and I think he's just going to exercise the better part of valor and run for help. So that's going to be 6 inches off to there, and then a d6. And I think it's safe to say that Cobalt will let him go because he just wants the information. Let's go ahead and take a look. There's nothing there. There's the happy face. There's the good information. So really, driving off the enemy was the only way Cobalt was going to win. Looks like brawling is very powerful in 5 Parsecs From Home. And it looks like because the game is over... Oh, you know what? I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give these guys 1 turn since he's running away. We'll activate them and see if they recover. Dane rolls a 1, and he stands back up. This cowboy rolls a 4, and he's still down. So at the end of the game, we're going to have to check and see what happens to him. The one downside to the quest missions in 5 Parsecs From Home is that whether you win or lose a battle doesn't make a difference. You roll on the same chart. I think Cobalt deserves a little reward for winning this battle so handily. So I'm going to give him a +1 to the quest chart. And in other words, on a 6, he's found an important milestone. On a 4 or 5, he gets a +1 after the next mission, or I should say a +2 because of the lead he uncovered here. And on a 1, 2, or 3, this was a diversion. So, well, he found a milestone. So this is a big one. This is an important one, and he is halfway to finding the location of the Magic Space Baby. Oh, I forgot the Magic Space Baby got left behind. Hey, come here, Magic Space Baby. You should be hanging out with him. And maybe because he's present, he should have had a -1 to the melee for Cobalt 15. Boy, that would have been smart. I'm a really good wargame designer eventually. For now, what this means is that we're going to reset the clock, and the next milestone will tell Cobalt where the Magic Space Baby's home planet is. On the next mission, well, we'll have to do an interlude first. There's not going to be any wound rolls, but we will generate an enemy, we'll generate some events, and we'll generate a new battle. So look for that report coming up in the not-too-distant future. Until then, remember, gang, I'm praying for you.